And this one is a live stream to YouTube, so you can just watch it again later after this. Okay, so during this class, this meeting, I'm going to ask you some question randomly. Then I just gonna check if somebody doesn't respond, then I just gonna consider that as not present. Okay. So make sure that when I ask you a question, you should respond. Okay. Okay, and better to show yourself. Please put the video on. Okay, so I just gonna repeat this. Actually, I plan not to repeat this again, but somebody asked me to do that, so I have to repeat it. Hang on, yeah. Okay, so these are fundamental or basic concept of basic terminology of graph. And so graph is a pair, so that is a pair of phi and E, where phi is a non-empty set of vertices. So non-empty set of vertices, and we denote that as phi. If the graph is G, then phi is phi G. Yeah, something like this. So that's the denotation. And E is the set of edges. It could be empty. And the notation for E is EG, something like this. So if G is a graph, then that's the notation. Yeah. Okay, then suppose that let G be the graph phi E. Then the cardinality, so that is the number of vertices. Now, so this vertex, that's for single, and vertices, that's for plural. Yeah. The notation is this. You know this. That is the cardinality. Cardinality of so that's kind of absolute. The sign of absolute value, and that is the NG. That's the notation. It is quite common notation, and we call it order of G. Okay. Then the cardinality of so that is the number of the set E. We denote that with M, and that is the size. So the number of vertices is called the order, and the number of edges, that's called the size. By the way, can you hear me or not? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And now usually if we not specify, then what we meant with graph, it is undirected. So there's no, what is meant with undirected, that the edges has no direction. Yeah. And so it is the common graph. It is usually the set, the edge is denoted by a set VW. Yeah, VW, because it is a set, so that is VW equal to WV. Yeah, and so that is the undirected graph. Because it is a set, then we just denote like that. And if it is directed graph, then it is a pair. Yeah, so it is order pair phi W. So it means that it goes from V and end up to W. Okay. And V and W are not the same. VW and WV, they are not the same. Okay. So that is the difference between undirected, so that is the common just graph, and directed graph, we also call digraph. Yeah. So digraph is actually directed graph. And so if we're gonna use this for several times, we're gonna get tired. So instead of doing this, we're just gonna mention that it is undirected graph or just graph, or digraph or directed graph. And we're just gonna write the H VW as a set and VW as a pair, like VW like this. Yeah. So instead of writing like that and like that, we're just gonna do like this. Okay, but of course we're gonna tell you that it is talking about graph or digraph. Okay. Okay. Then, so it is an example. So it is, we call it G1. And these are the vertices, V1, V2, V3, and so on until V7. And these are the edges, so V1, V2, and so on, yeah. So these are, so what is the order of this one? So I'm gonna, Elizabeth Lambiju. Elizabeth Lambiju, you there? Hello. So if you not respond, then I'm just gonna consider that as alpha. Yeah? Okay. Just try Angel Mayeri. Angel Mayeri. Okay, Roma Mantiri.
Oh, yes, Prof.
Yeah, so what is the order of this graph?
Order of G1.
Yes. What? Rifki Salsabil. What is the order of G1? Rifki.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. What is the order of G1? Okay, again, yeah. So this is here. The order of the graph is the number of the vertices. Okay. And the size of the graph, yeah. The size of the graph, so the order of the graph and the size of the graph is the number of edges. Okay. Okay. Next. So if you have this graph, what is the order of this graph? Natasha Mapalie?
7, Prof.
7. And what is the size of this graph? Kevin Pesik? Kevin?
1 year.
The size of this graph, what? What is the size?
9.
9. Okay. Okay. So this is the how you draw the graph. So here, for example, you have V1, V2, so that is this one. V1, V3, that is that. V2, V4, that is this one. V2, V5, that is that one, and so on. Yeah. So that is all the edges of the graph. So this is undirected graph. Okay. So the order is 7 because there are 7 vertices. So these are the vertices. Yeah. So this one is 1 vertex, 2 vertex, 3 vertices, 2 vertices, 3 vertices, 4 vertices, and so on. Yeah. And there are 9. The size is 9 because there are 9 edges. Okay. So example 2. Okay. So suppose that this one, Gloria Pangao, what is the order of this graph? Gloria?
6, Prof.
What?
6.
6. How did you get 6? The order.
Nasa keluar lagi.
The order is the number of vertices. Samuel Ezra.
Yes, Prof.
What?
The order is 5.
5. Yeah. And what is the size of this one?
6, Prof.
Yeah, 6. Yeah. So again, that is why there. Yeah. So here, so for this one, this graph G2, it is directed graph. So you have again the order is 5, and the size is 6, and they are usually indicated by this arrow, and that is the directed graph. Okay. Now, if we have this one, then the XY walk, that is the alternating sequence starting with so alternating sequence starting with a vertex, and then edge, vertex, edge, and so on, and ending with the vertex. So the first one is X, and the last one is Y. That is XY walk. Okay. And these are incident. Incident mean that, so for example, this is V, and it is W. And that is the edge, VW. Then we say that V and W are adjacent. Okay, so they are adjacent. So V and W, V and W. Okay. V and W are adjacent. And suppose that this is we call E, so this is the edge E. Then we say E is incident with V, and also it is incident with W. Yeah, so it is adjacent and incident. Okay. So that is the walk. And then a close walk, so something is called close walk if the beginning and the last one are the same. So we call it X to X walk. Okay, X to X walk. Because it is close walk, yeah, close walk. An open walk is not close. So the first and the last one are not the same. Okay, so it's called open walk. And a trail, so you have to memorize this, yeah? You have to memorize this. A trail is a walk, so a trail is also a walk, but no repetition of H. No repetition of H. Yeah. So there is no H repeated in the trail. Okay. And a path, so it is also important, a path, if there is no repetition of vertex. No repetition of vertex. Yeah. So they are all walk, yeah, XY trail, that is a walk, but no repetition of H. XY path is also a walk, but no repetition of vertex. So that's the difference. Yeah. And a circuit is a closed trail. So that is a trail. So a circuit, no H repeated. Yeah, a circuit has no repetition of H and it is closed. So a trail, that's the beginning and the end are the same vertex, the same vertices. And path, if it is closed, then we call it cycle. Yeah, a circuit and a cycle. Okay. Circuit, you know, itu balap-balap ya. Pokoknya ingat saja circuit itu trail, motor trail, ya, motor trail itu di circuit itu. Dan itu tidak boleh ke pinggir, nggak boleh ke sisi, ya. Itu aja. Circuit, trail, no repetition of edge. Edge itu sisi, ya. Jadi kalau di circuit jangan ke pinggir. Itu ingat aja seperti itu, ya. The other one is of course cycle and path. No repetition of vertices. Okay, so there is example. Now here, this example, so we call this E1. So it is an edge, E1. And this one is actually V1, V2. So that is V1, V2. E2 is V1, V3. That is this one. E3 is V2, V4. That is V2, V4, and so on. Yeah. Okay. Now, Poppy Katiandago. Poppy ada?
Yeah,
Okay. Can you name? Yeah. So again here, that's the definition. XY walk is like this. So it's alternating sequence of vertex, edge, vertex, edge, vertex, edge. Yeah. And close walk is a walk, but the first one and the last one are the same. and open work if they are different. Now a trail, if there's no edge repeated, and a path if there's no vertex repeated, so they are both open. Sequit and cycle, they are both closed, but sequit no edge repeated, and cycle no vertex repeated. Now look at this example. Can you name a path? Just give me an example of path. Yeah, so maybe I just gonna give you example. Yeah. So this is an example of walk. Yeah. So you go from V1, and then E1, and then V2. Yeah. So V1, E1, V2, E3. So that is this one. V4, that one, and so on. And you go there. So that's a walk. V1, V5 walk. So that is from V1 to V5. So you go from here. Okay, you go from here. Oh. You go from here to there. And then where it goes, V4 to E7. Yeah. And then it go back to E7 again, go back here, and then it goes here and goes there. Okay. So this is a walk. Now the question is it an open walk or a closed walk? Mana tadi? Siapa tadi? Poppy. Poppy. Mana Poppy? Are you there? So again, this is a walk. So it goes like this, yeah. It goes from here, there, go there, but it go back to the same edge, and you go here, and go there. Mana Poppy tadi? Okay. Chalfaria tempo.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. Is it an open or a closed walk?
Open walk, Prof.
An open walk, yeah. Okay. Elizabeth Lambiju.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. Can you give an example of a closed walk? Give an example of a closed walk. Anybody can give example of a closed walk?
Can I try, Prof?
Yeah, yes.
V1, E1, E2, E3, E4, E6, E5,
Wait. Let me again.
V1,
Yeah,
E1, E2, E3, P4,
yeah.
E6, P5, E5, V3, E2, and the last one, V1.
Yeah. So that's an example of closed form. Yeah. Okay. Kelvin Kakase.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of a path? A path. Give me an example of a path. A path. What is a path again? Here again, yeah. So that is a path here. A path, no repetition of vertex. Okay? Mana? Mana ini coba ini Samuel Ezra.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. Give me an example of a path.
Start with V1, E1, V2,
Wait.
E3, V4, V4, E6,
Before
E6,
E6.
V4, E6, V5, and the last, V5, E5, the last, V3.
Yeah. Okay. So this is an example of a path. Okay. Okay. A trail. So let me ask somebody. Aldi Leong. Aldi. Aldi mana Aldi? Yeah, Aldi is not there ya. Coba ini yang pakai nama Yuhu. Yuhu. Apa ini Yuhu? Yang Anda pakai nama J ini siapa? Oh. I think I have to take picture because there are so many strange name here. I better take a picture of this. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. I still gonna ask a question. Yeah. Okay, so another example. This work, yeah. So you have V4 and V. So V4 is repeated. So that is not a path, yeah, because it has V4 is repeated. So that's not. Yeah, so this V4 is repeated, so that's not a path. And then this one is also E7 is repeated, so this one is not a trail. Yeah. Now this one is a close walk, but as you see, if you have something like that, then you have V4 is repeated and V5 is also repeated. So this one is not a cycle because there are two vertices that are repeated. So it's not a cycle. Then this one is also, so it is a close walk, but E6 is repeated, so it is not a sequence. Yeah, it's not a sequence. Now another example. So this is a trail if there's no repetition of this is a trail. Yeah. Okay, so again, this one is a trail. Although we have repetition of vertices, but there is no repetition of edges, then this is a trail. Now this one is a sequence, although there is a repetition of V5, but it has no repetition of edges, so it is a sequence. Now this one is a path because there's no repetition of vertex. And this one is a cycle, it is a path, and it is closed. Okay? Any questions so far? Next, we're gonna talk about this one. So these are some family of graph. Now, null graph consists only of vertices. So it is one vertex, that is N1, two vertices, that's N2, three vertices, that's N3. And so they are only vertices, no edge. We call it null graph. Okay. Next one is path graph. So that is PM. So that is a path. So that is a graph that is only a path. Yeah. So that is an example. So that is P2. That's a path that consists of two vertices. Is V3, P3. That is a path. So this is a path. And it consists of three vertices. This P4, it is a path, and it consists of four vertices, and so on. So this P5, there are five vertices, V1, V2, and V5. Now, cycle graph is a cycle, and so Cn, so that is the number of vertices, n is the number of vertices. Yeah. So that is okay. So I just want to ask question. Does C2 exist? Can anybody give me an example of C2? Anybody? Yeah, so basically, it is actually C2, yeah? But for simple graph, so simple graph have, so this graph is called, so this edge is called parallel edges because they have two of the same edge, the same end. So these vertices and the vertices, they share that edges. So this called parallel edges, yeah. And this one is called a loop. So that's the vertex, and it goes from itself. So that is phi. That's a loop. Now, a simple graph is a graph that has no this and no that. Yeah, a graph that has no loop and no parallel edges. So that is simple graph. It's called a simple graph. Okay. Okay, so this is C3. So this is a cycle, and there are 3 vertices. And it is C4, so that's a cycle, and there are 4 vertices. Is C5 is a cycle and 5 vertices. C6 and so on. Yeah. Yeah. So this is actually a cycle graph. It is like this for V2, C2 for C2, but for simple graph that so the C2 doesn't exist. Now, complete graph is the graph that all pair of vertices, there is an edge connecting them. Yeah, the symbol is Kn, so that is complete graph is Kn. Now, this one is complete graph because there are 3 vertices. V1 and V2, they are edge there. V1 and V1 and V2, there's edge. V1 and V3 also there's an edge. V2 and V3 also an edge. This K4, so all the vertices there's an edge. For example, V1 and V3, this edge. V2 and V4, there's that edge. Yeah, and this is K5. Jadi K5 itu complete graph. Setiap vertex, setiap dua vertex, there's an edge connecting them. Yeah, so that is K5 and that's K6. Okay. Now regular graph. Now before we go to the regular graph, degree is, so degree is the number of, it is actually in the video before, yeah. So degree is the number of edges incident. Yeah, so that's the degree. So for example, if we have this vertex and this edge, for example, we have this edge and that edge going anywhere, this edge. Then the degree of this vertex is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the edges that's going or coming incident with that vertex, that is the number of degree. Okay, so how about this one? How about this one? So that's the vertex. This is a loop. It's called a loop. How many degrees does this vertex have? Okay, you have to find out, okay? Next week, I'm gonna ask you again. Okay, so that's regular graph. Now, regular graph means that every vertex has the same degree. And n regular graph means that every vertex has degree n. Okay, so this one is n0, so that is 0 regular because there's no edges going out. And this one is 1 regular because this one has degree 1, that is that h. This one has degree 1, that is that h. Okay, so they are degree 1 regular. And this one is 2 regular because every vertex has 2 edges. Yeah. So this one has that and that. This one has this edge and that edge. Yeah, and so on. The same, this one is also 2 regular. So Cn is so the cycle is 2 regular graph. Okay. Now 3 regular graphs. So every vertex has 3 degree. So this vertex has 1, 2, 3. This one is 1, 2, 3, and so on. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So that is this one is also 3 regular. This one is K4. This one there's no name. So if you have an idea of your graph, then we can call your U. We can name U to the graph. Yeah. So it is also 3 regular, and this one is also 3 regular. Now this one is infinity. It's called the Mobius ladder. Now this one is 4 regular. So K5 is 4 regular. Yeah. So every vertex has 4 degree, and so on. Yeah. That's K5 also. Now this one is 5 regular, so that is, yeah. So every Kn, so that is n minus 1 regular. So these are all example of regular graph. Now complete bipartite graph is a simple graph that you can divide the vertices into 2 sets. And if, okay, I just gonna explain that. So this is K12 because you can split this. Because you split this like this, and here that is one vertex, and there are 2 vertices. So you have 1 and 2, and every vertex here is adjacent to vertex there. Yeah. So that is we're gonna have another example. This one 3, so it's 1 here and 3 there. So this one is connected to each of there to the other side. This is 2, 3. So here you have 2 here, and that's 3. So this one is connected to all 3 to the other side, but it's not connected to this. Okay, so that's very important. It connected to the other side, but it's not connecting to one side. Yeah. Okay, so this one is V2 is connected to all to the other side, but V1 and V2 are not connected. there's no not connected, but there are no edge, direct edge connecting them. Okay. This is the same as K23. And this one is K33. It is very, very famous graph, K33. And it is K5, yeah. Okay. This one is the star graph, so we call it SN. So you have, this is S2, so the star, you have the middle one, and you have two, like two hands, yeah. So this is S7, so that is star, so one in the middle, and so all the rest, yeah. So it's actually, so there is one that every vertices is adjacent to that one, and the other vertices are not adjacent. Okay. Jadi ini, so ini tidak ada edge, ini tidak ada edge, no edge, no edge, no edge. But every of them has edge to the middle one. Yeah. So that's why it's called a star, because it looks like a star, a shining star. Okay. So there are some similarity here. Now, generalized Petersen graph, it's N. Okay, so we call it PNK. Now it looks like this. So for example, P52. Okay, so you pay attention. So here, 5. So there are 5 vertices here. And there's a cycle connecting them. And then you have another 5 vertices in the middle or down here. Now, each of the outer vertex is connected to the inner vertex like that. Then, and now here, this 2 is from here. You have to count 2 and you join that. So for example, that one, so 1, 2. So you go in that. This one, 1, 2. Then you go that vertex there, that, and so on. Okay, understand? Okay, if you have question, you have to ask. Okay. Jadi ini, these 5, yeah, these 5. Oh. That is actually the vertex here, 5. There are 5 vertices, and there are 5 vertices here. Yeah, and then these 2, you have to count like this. So that is, for example, from here you count 1, 2, then you put that edge there. You put this edge, and from here you count again 1, 2, then you put that edge there. From here you have a 1, 2, you put that edge there. Okay. And P73, so there are 7 vertices outside, and that's a cycle. Then another 7 inside. Then each of the outside vertex is adjoined to the inside vertex like this. Now you have to count 3. Okay, so that is how you do. So for example, from here you count 3. 1, 2, 3. So that is the edge. From here, count 1, 2, 3, and that is, you get that. From here, get that, and then 1, 2, 3, you get that one. Yeah, so that is actually how you do the generalized Petersen graph. Okay. Now, so Ma'am Christie, Ma'am Christie, in her final project, she's working on this one. Okay. Any question? So if there's no question, then we're just gonna stop here. So when I check your if you are here, you are join us, then I just realized that Elizabeth Lambiju, Angel Mayeri, and Aldi Leong were not responded to my question. So they are considered to be alpha. Okay? Any question? Jadi meskipun semua yang ini ada isi itu absen, tapi yang nama-nama tadi yang kita cek ternyata yang ada, itu akan kita kasih alpha. Okay. If there's no question, then